what I want to do is just kind of give a sort of an overview of maybe some of the steps in somewhat of an order, not necessarily always in that order, of how to get to the point. Access to a deck, access to a family room. Oh.
I think it's the batteries. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
well, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
How about now? Ooh,
Yeah.
I can hear me now up here, so that's great. So anyway, so access is very important. You need to be thinking about that. For tanning areas and whatnot.
I swear this is the last one, you guys. I have new batteries now, so.
Okay. So maybe you want a shadier spot. Maybe you want a place to cool off. So that's another access and placement area. The terrain, if you have a slope away from your house and you're wanting to install an outdoor living area there, you may have to consider some grading and some elevation changes. If you have a slope toward the house, you may have to consider some grading and elevation changes that will allow you to push that bank back. And that's going to be a whole different situation as far as bringing in material and actually building, possibly retaining walls, that sort of thing to give you that area that you need. Where's the septic system if you're on a septic system? Where's your water line? Where are power lines, cable, things you might not want to cover up or disturb, so you sort of need to know where all that is. And then do you have existing trees and shrubs that you want to keep that may be in the way of grading, or possibly are smaller now and are going to get larger later, that might have roots that interfere with this outdoor living area over time. So then kind of what are your wants? Are we looking to do a patio? Are we looking to do seating areas? Are we looking to do cooking areas? Do you need a fire feature, a water feature? Are we looking to do a covered area such as a pergola or maybe a gazebo? So once we kind of figure out what do we want and in our mind what we'd like to have, then we kind of continue on with the details. So we look at features. So the features, maybe we start with the patio. And there's a lot of flooring options with patios. It kind of starts with something as simple as stone, natural stone, a gravel type product that can go down and is fairly inexpensive, but there are some drawbacks to that. The stone's going to move. It's going to be hard to keep clean. We're going to try to blow leaves out. We may blow the stone around. So there's some disadvantages to the stone product. What about the concrete? I was asked in the booth, what's the difference in cost of concrete and pavers, for instance? There's a big difference. It's closing though, because the cost of concrete has gone up a lot. But concrete is going to be sort of a middle of the road price product. I'm a paver sales guy, so basically the adage is there's two types of concrete. Anybody know what they are? Cracked and gonna crack. So it's going to happen. It's hard to repair that. If sometimes you have to replace it if it cracks. So there's some drawbacks to the concrete flooring. If you use a stamped colored concrete, we have the same potential problems of cracking. You can get a little bit nicer look with color and the stamping, but it still has that ability to crack and sort of fail, and it really can't be repaired. So pavers, I guess, would be probably the most expensive, but also the most versatile, probably the prettiest in my opinion. There are tons and tons of opportunities with pavers for color. If you want to turn to, I think, what did I have here? Page. If you want to follow along and look in the catalog, I had page 47 through 52. This is a line we handle. We have 5 different lines of paver products, and I'm not favoring these guys at all. They're very good, but those pages will kind of give you an idea of, I think, it's style, all the opportunities with colors, with finishes that you can get in a paver product. A paver product is typically going to be 7,000 to 8,000 psi. Most poured concrete in residential situations is 3,000 to 4,000 psi. They're color through. There's a difference in, and I'll sort of just hold these up. I know you can't see them, but I can leave them here if you have any interest. There's a kind of a Generation 1 paver that's been around forever. The manufacturer of that is, it's been poured into a mold, vibrated to consolidate the concrete, and it's obviously sand, cement, and stone, and binder. So this is a nice finish. This is a very good paver, but if you take a look, you can see more of the aggregate already at the top. This is where you're going to get a little bit more wear over time, a little sooner than you will some of the new generation pavers. So that then gives us a sorry. We have a product that you will find has a finish on the top, which is a lot finer material. So that's going to last a lot longer as far as wear. Over time, it will degrade some, but many, many years down the road before you have any degradation that really shows a lot of aggregate. So that's kind of a Generation 2 paper. And then there's pre-sealed. This is actually, I could pour water or oil on this. Water's going to be, oil will wipe off, so it does not penetrate. Obviously, we go up in costs when we do that, but there's no end to the amount of variation you can get in color and style. Sort of back to the stone. This is a piece of flagstone. It's natural flagstone out of Tennessee. Very dense, very pretty. Harder to lay for the mason or for the installer or for the DIY folk. It also can shale. This little piece here eventually will probably get a little water under it to pop off. So there's no quality control with natural stone, where there is quality control with the paper. So give you a little bit of idea of the differences in what you can get with an actual paver. I hope you could hear me standing out there since I didn't have a microphone. So the pavers, I'm going to go in a little bit, when we get a little further along, I'll go into some installation practices just in case we got DIYers in here. So wall structures, if you want to look at page 159 and 160, it gives you a little bit of an idea of what you can do with walls. They can be retaining or they can be freestanding. So retaining walls obviously are structural. They're put in place to hold back soil, and that's what they do. All kinds of looks. This is a couple of options here. This is foam, so we don't build them out of this. This block weighs, in real life, this block weighs 78 pounds. So polycore, sometimes they're solid. They all serve the same purpose. There's infinite amount of manufacturers. Some have lips, some have pins, some have rear notches, rear lips, but they some of the double-sided walls then would be typically for seating. So that is made to either radius for seating, although this will radius as well. So you radius those for seating. You've got a lot of capping options. Every manufacturer makes a cap that matches, or there's stone caps that you can use as well. With radiuses, you do have to, typically there's a little cutting involved, so it's a little bit hard sometimes for the DIY customer to do a really good job in a timely manner, because cutting is pretty tedious, and measure twice, cut once kind of thing. There's also stacked stone walls that do require some masonry. They look nice. The mortar can fail. Of course, there's a lot of those out here that have been there for many, many years. So if it's installed properly, they make a very, very nice wall. So we covered capping options. And by the way, if there's any questions during, I can do a little Q&A at the end, but if you guys got a question, just stop me, because I need to make this as casual as we can. So if something pops up, just feel free. So outdoor lighting. So outdoor lighting is another really nice addition to any outdoor living area. Enhances the beauty of all the other things that you put in the ground. So there's a picture on page 40 that just gives you a little bit of a look of what a hardscape lighting would look like. That actually goes under a cap and lights down the wall. That's one way to light the hardscape project. You can also use wash lighting and use that at the bottom, and it'll shine up and wash the wall from the bottom up. Tree lighting, obviously we have nice trees. We got nice tall trees. We can go all the way to the top of those trees with outdoor lighting. Special features, if you have a water feature you'd like to light, if you've got maybe a lawn ornament, a mailbox, boulders, we use different types of lighting fixtures to handle that. And then path lighting. A lot of folks like path lighting. There's a lot of three things that basically you think about when you're thinking about outdoor lighting is security, safety, and then beautification. So security obviously is to be sure that you've got some light around the house at night, so if you got prowlers, you kind of know they're there. The safety part of it is so you might not trip over the hose that you left out across the pathway, and also maybe you see the copperhead before he sees you, so that's always nice. And then the beautification, I think that's many houses look very, very nice in the daytime, and frankly a lot of them look even better at night because of the shadowing and enhancing the stone on a house or siding on a house, the gables. So outdoor lighting is something that's it's also a very easy do-it-yourself project, because it's all now low voltage, LED, takes almost no power to run the thing for a year. Many times I think we've heard $25 to $50 a year to run a nice lighting project for the power cost for the whole year. So we offer lighting demos, and a lot of other installers offer lighting demos to sort of show you what your house could look like with the lighting that you might want to install. So that's available. So if we go to water features, I think there's a pretty good little picture on page 183. But water features can be as simple as an urn. We actually have an urn, two urns turned upside down, inverted, with a plumbing kit and a water basin from Atlantic Water Gardens. And that turned into a really nice little water feature for not a lot of money, not a lot of work. Almost no maintenance because it's fallen into stone. So you can have very, very simple water features. You can get a little bit more elaborate with like pondless kits that make a lot larger area that the end result is the water comes in down a small waterfall into a big area of stone, and it just disappears into the basin below. So there's no water to keep clean as far as standing water. Always remember that water features, as long as the water is moving, you're not going to have a mosquito problem. There are also treatments that are usually not necessarily not necessary, but if they are, they're available. There are also new filtration systems from Atlantic Water Gardens and some others. So if you do a true pond with fish and plants, this thing is smart enough to clean itself, and it sends you a message that says, hey, I just cleaned the pond, so you may want to go out and clean the filters. So the days of worrying about having a pond and the maintenance are over. It's a lot easier now to take care of the water features. And then there's streams. You know, we can get pretty elaborate. We've had just FYI, we've provided material in beyond Boone for a project that how big's that, Ron? That stream over at Bethel. It's a monster. It's a monster. So far, I think there's yeah, it's unbelievable. The budget was unending for that one, so that's great, and so you could have that at your house. So, fire features can be very simple as well. We've got a fire feature. It's not burning, but we've got one in the booth. Something as simple as a fire pit. You can be wood burning or propane or natural gas. Wood is very nice, kind of nasty. You got to find the wood. A lot of folks are looking at the gas ones because you can almost flip a switch. They can come with match light. They can come with a push button ignition, and they can come with a control on your phone to turn them on and off. But you can use as I said, a fire pit, a fire table, fireplace. Fireplaces are again more expensive and a lot more of a project, but it's available, and there's also wood and gas options for those. So turf, everybody wants some turf around these areas, and I come from a long background of seed and fertilizer sales, so I'm always used to the natural turf. It's very nice. It's a lot of you probably know, if you're living here, this is a transition zone. It's really hard to keep turf in good shape, but with the fertilization and the insect control, disease control, water, heat problems, drought problems. So there is a big move especially in smaller areas, for artificial turf, and it's come a long way as well. A lot more realistic looking than it used to be, a lot more affordable than it used to be. So got a little piece of that up here, and we've got that in our booth as well. So it's permanent. Basically it goes installed similarly to pavers with drainage below, and then there's an infill product that goes in to help the blades stand up, and also it's an antimicrobial fill that, as long as you can keep a little water on it once a week, that will stay activated, and if you have dogs, it will minimize any odor, and it's easy to keep clean. So again, come a long way with the artificial turf products. And then you got to think about plant material. So plant material is I'm going to be sure I'm not going to run over here. So, plant materials, a lot of I took the Master Gardener course years and years and years ago, and then I took the Certified Plantsman course, and I had to identify plants, and I had to identify them by the species, and in many cases by the cultivar, which is the name of that actual plant. it's changed so much in the 20 plus years that happened for me. It's unending. You can look at there's Settlemire Nursery, and you know, everybody here has plants in the booth. So many colors and so many variations and dwarfs, and it's just it's unending, and it's really hard sometimes to know what to put in place. But you know, considerations there obviously are going to be color. If you want color, there's foliage color. There's seasonal blooming plants that you know, if you pay attention, you can work the system. And you have Edgeworthia blooming in here now, and Daphne blooming early, and then you move to the azaleas and on through the crepe myrtles, and so you can have color most of the year, but you've got to kind of do your homework. The hardiness of the plant, obviously, plants need to be placed in the zones that they're meant for. We can't really put crepe myrtles don't work well in the mountains. It's not the climate that they need. And rhododendrons don't always work well down here, especially on sun exposed areas. So you've got to be sure that plant's going to be where it needs to be for its hardiness zone. And then sun or shade. It's kind of that way with crepe myrtle. Crepe myrtle doesn't want to be in the shade, and the rhododendron doesn't want to be in a bunch of full sun typically. And there's a lot of plants that's the case. You got to think about the water needs for these plants, or the water tolerance. You know, some plants can't stand wet feet. So if you put them somewhere that they stay, rhododendron really, most of that family, azaleas, they can't stay in areas that are super wet, super moist all the time. They just don't tolerate that. The size at maturity for these plants, you know, we don't want to put a green giant arborvitae 2 feet off the house. It's going to smother it. I go in and try to do some of these lighting demos, and folks have planted plants there that probably came out of a 3-gallon pot, and they look great when they put them in the ground. Within 5 years, it's like, where's the saw? You know, it's got to come down. So maintenance of that plant, you know, how much pruning you're going to have to do on that one. Is there going to be, you know, are there insect problems with that plant? You know, disease problems with that plant. So you got to do some homework there. And then plant quality. Just because somebody's growing a Helleri holly doesn't mean it's going to be a good Helleri holly. If they're not pruned properly, fed properly, you know, moved up into the pot size once they reach the capacity of that pot, you can have pot-bound plants. So you want to be sure you're buying from a reputable grower and that the plants look really good. Most people don't give a warranty on a plant, and I always liken that to buying a puppy and taking it home and not feeding it and not giving it water. It's going to be a problem. So nobody can really take care of the plant for you if you're not going to take care of it. So you usually don't see a plant warranty. And then availability. Sometimes I have seen on plans that people draw that you know, this plant's just not available here. It might be a fine plant for here, but maybe it's just not available. Maybe the growers don't grow that. So those are some considerations for plant material. So then, once we kind of get through some of these considerations and we've got some idea what we want to do, we need to have a plan. So there's several ways to come up with a plan that you can start your project. One is you can sort of sketch out what you think you might want. And take it to a nursery. Take it if it involves hardscapes. You know, bring it to a hardscape distributor, and let's see if we can help you. You know, get those plans in place. Usually, that needs to be kind of a simple plan. We at Reds are not designers, but we can help you with the hardscape portions of that and some of the other things I mentioned. But we have plants as well, so it's not that we can't help you with that. It's just we can go so far with that kind of plan. There's some online kind of homeowner-driven designs that sometimes might work. Again, they don't know the nature of your location. They don't know the nature of your your climate and what's available, as we mentioned. So the landscape contractor that you may get in touch with may can do a plan for you, and then maybe include that in a package. And then we have landscape architects who, that's their job, is to give you the plan that you. I say we, they're out there. There sits one, but. That's their job. That's all they do is draw plans for large, small scale, everything from the water features through the plants through the hardscape. So we get that pulled together. We have a plan. Then we need to come up with a budget, and that normally is put together by the material cost. Now, this is if you're going to do it yourself. A lot of you may just call Mr. Contractor and say, I need you to give me a quote on this whole number. And that's typically what I see, but we also have folks that will come in and bring a plan and be looking for an installer as well. So it really comes down to the cost of the material and the delivery of the material, and then the contractor's a quality contractor cost. And I stress quality contractor because you really do want to find a reputable contractor who has, and this is also, I actually did this kind of out of my head, but in the back of this Unilock catalog, there is almost the same thing I'm telling you. I didn't write the page down, but it's finding a quality contractor. And so you follow through with that, and there's credentials, there's certifications that most of these guys have under their belt. They've come to trainings, they've come to recertification trainings, and obviously you need to be cognizant of their change orders and their contracts. Be sure you understand all that. Are they going to offer you a maintenance contract, maybe, or aftercare of the plant material, maybe of the hardscapes? There's cleaning and sealing that can happen with hardscapes. Doesn't always, but if you want that, they may offer that for you. And then what is their warranty for their work? Typically, there'll be a warranty statement on there for the some period of time for everything they've done. So just be sure that all that is you got those boxes checked, because they're very important. And then your other option is the DIY. And so I'm going to take just a few minutes, and on the very back of your, I don't even have a copy of that. I'll do it by memory, hopefully. But and that one at the top's a little fuzzy, but that's two areas that you may typically get involved in on a small scale if you're a do-it-yourselfer. The one, I'll go over the paver one first, because we talked about pavers kind of at length. So that little cross section is a proper way to lay a paver. And, there is excavation involved, there's compaction of the soil, there's addition of stone and compaction of that. A lot of times in our clay here, we might, I think that actually may show a separation fabric between the stone bed and the original soil. That's to keep the stone from migrating down through into the soil, and no settling. And then there's a setting bed, and that setting bed is typically a sand setting bed, or has been for years. Sort of the new norm with a lot of the installers now is open graded aggregate. So that 5 inches or so of stone you see above the soil may now be an open graded aggregate. It minimizes any compaction that's necessary. It improves the drainage. It actually is as strong, if not stronger, than what you see with an ABC or a crushed stone, because now the crushed stone has so many fines in it. And then instead of the sand, many times they'll put in 2 inches of we'll call it a pea gravel. It's actually a 14 or a 78 or an 87. There's different terminologies for this all over the place. But so then they just lay right directly on that. So this whole thing is one system. It drains well. It's very, very strong, and it speeds the application up for the installer. And then he'll incorporate, depending on the size of the joint for the paver, he'll incorporate a polymeric sand, consolidate that in with a vibration and water it in, and it becomes a permanent setup in the joint. There are some wet sands now that actually on larger joints that can be washed in, and literally washed in with water immediately, and the water does all the consolidation of the product. So all those work, and of course you're going to go out further by about 6 inches on each side of your area with the bed and the setting bed, so that you can't ever have any flex on the outsides. Then usually a plastic edging to hold this together. There's also some concrete edgings that with fiber that work very well, and might even be at least as permanent as the plastic edging. And then a little bit about the retaining walls. That one is showing actually a structural retaining wall, which would be as I said earlier, holding back the actual earth. So you can see that is all built all on gravel, drainage at the bottom, gravel behind the product. That particular cut is of a product called Versalock, which is a solid block system, and its alignment is with a plastic pin. This product here, as I said, we sell both. As a matter of fact, the same company makes them both, but this is called Allen block, but it has this core which gets filled with stone. So on smaller walls, 3 to 4 foot and below, there's no engineering necessary as long as you don't have a lot of slope coming down to it. But once you pass that, it is supposed to be engineered anything over 4 to 5 feet, depending on which county you talk to. But this would fill with stone. So this actually, to me, helps the lock a little bit even better than there's no pin with it. This all locks together with this front lip. So the next block just locks in right here. So every system works, and every system has some sort of different locking mechanism, but they all work. So. But so then you basically that's built one course at a time, filled with stone and stone behind it each course, compacted soil behind there that probably shows a piece of geogrid. So that's another product that is a polyester cordage product that's almost like a mesh. Well, it is a mesh. So it sits to the front of the block, goes back into the soil, and then the compacted soil on the bottom and the top of that form a very, very tight dead man effect. So these things have been built to 30, 40, 50 feet, and they're going to be there forever. So, but that would give you a little bit of overview on those couple of products. Also, then, if you're looking, I don't have a cut sheet on this, but if you look at doing seating walls, most of that just glues together. Sometimes if you're doing curves, you got to do some cutting. You've obviously got to cut the caps, because the caps almost never, even if they're a trapezoidal cap, you're probably not going to build this to fit the cap. You're going to build it to fit what you need. So you may have to do some cutting. That's going to be done with a diamond blade saw. And preferably, if you try to get a DIY going with it, grab a saw at the rental place with a 16-inch or 14-inch blade, and that makes quick work of it. So the double-sided block can also be used to make grill islands, planters. You can do that and incorporate fire features, water features into those. So there's a lot of DIY options with that as well. So the water feature folks have a lot of nice DIY products that basically you're going to build a box and plumb it up and put your basin in and turn it on and go. So there's a lot of options in do it yourself. So it depends on the scope of the project if you wanted to have it done or do it yourself. So that kind of covers what I got. There's a ton of information in that catalog. We at Reds have a 6,500 square foot showroom with all the things I talked about and more. So we'd be glad to help you with anything that you have going on. So if you've got any questions, Otherwise, the day's about done, so, yeah. Okay, well, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time. Enjoyed it.